Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I'm your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop. And this week I've got 4 big reviews for everybody. First off, the 2 new-to-theater releases, Inside Out, Disney Pixar's newest film, a film that has been getting a lot of praise in the critic world called Dope, as well as the returning classic coming back to theaters for just a couple days, Jaws 40th Anniversary Special, and a drama that I didn't get to see in theaters but just watched on Blu-ray, which is Black or White. So let's kick off this week with my review of the newest Disney Pixar film. It's been called Pixar's Best, but did I like it? Really? You probably know that already. Look at the background, okay? Here's my review of Inside Out. A young girl named Riley is forced to move away from her friends and settles into San Francisco with her mom and dad. While she's having some trouble getting used to things, the emotions inside her head, joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger, are also in a bit of a predicament. After a mishap, joy and sadness are separated from the others and need to get back to the command center before Riley's life is affected for good. So what did I think of Inside Out? I thought it's an excellent animated family film. It's been 2 years since the last Pixar film, Monsters University, was released, and the masters have certainly been missed. The animation is simply stunning, and is easily the best I've seen this year. The whole idea of the film being based off the emotions inside your head could be considered to be risky, but it works in spades here. The story sees the adventures of joy and sadness trying to make it back home from different imaginative lands, and the other emotions having to deal with what's going on in Riley's life, having to make some tough calls. There's also some emotional scenes between Riley and her parents dealing with growing up. The great voice cast includes Amy Poehler as Joy, the upbeat and happy one who leads the gang inside Riley's mind, trying to keep all of her memories positive. Phyllis Smith as Sadness, the gloomy negative emotion Joy becomes forced to work with if they want to save the day. Bill Hader as Fear, the scary one always worried something bad is going to happen. Mindy Kaling as Disgust, the voice in Riley's head telling her what not to like or refuse. Lewis Black as Anger, the cantankerous emotion who can rarely keep calm. And Richard Kind as Bing Bong, Riley's old imaginary friend she's forgotten over the years who helps Joy and Sadness on their journey. Funny, heartwarming, and serving up an original idea, Inside Out was easily a joyous experience for me. I'm going to give it the rating of A-List approved. It gets the A-List seal of approval. Yes, definitely if you're a big Pixar fan, a Disney fan, a fan of animation in general, definitely make it a priority to go see Inside Out. And whether you have kids or not, kids will love it, adults will love it. I feel like it could be a different movie for kids and adults, much like most Pixar movies are. Yeah, you could get pretty close to crying in this one. I did not, thankfully. Almost. But I didn't have the ugly cry, so that's a good thing. But yes, definitely Inside Out is a good movie. Alright, this next film has been picking up a lot of buzz, mostly in its own previews, calling it the next instant classic, and comparing it to itself to The Breakfast Club in previews on the television. Is it worthy of any of that praise? We're gonna find out. Here's my review of Dope. A nerdy straight-A student and his 2 friends get involved in selling drugs after attending a party. The event is raided by cops and a dealer sticks drugs in the student's backpack. The drugs become a subject of interest for multiple parties, and the group of friends are forced to sell the stash to get rid of it and be free once and for all. So what did I think of Dope? I thought it's a passable drug dramedy. I'm obviously not the target audience for this film, but I did somewhat enjoy myself. By watching the previews and seeing the first few minutes of the movie, I thought it was going to take place in the 1990s by the clothes and hairstyle of the characters. It turns out it's actually set in current times, and the three friends are just obsessed with early 90s hip-hop and pop culture. There are quite a few funny moments, but nothing I personally belly laughed at or anything. It's actually more serious than I expected too, with a few shootouts. This is not a film to take your grandmother to go see, as the N-word flies around like it's Django Unchained as well, and at least 100 F-bombs. There's also a pretty hot foreplay and makeout scene starring hottie Chanel Aman. Yowza! It is quite interesting to see the kid and his friends transform throughout the movie in about the time period of a month, setting up shop right in the school, using the chemistry lab and computer room. There are some okay twists in the story as well. The cast do a fine job, starring Shameik Moore as Malcolm, the teen who dreams of going to Harvard and gets caught up in some shady business, Kiersey Clemens as Diggy, Malcolm's friend who's a lesbian, Tony Revolori as Jib, the third member of the trio who suggests to go to the party in the first place, Zoe Kravitz as Nakia, a girl Malcolm is interested in and helps her study for her GED, and Blake Anderson as Will, a drugged-out techie who helps the gang out with selling drugs by using bitcoins online. While I wouldn't call Dope an instant classic, it's still a generally fun watch. I'm going to give it the rating of... do it. Yeah, like I said, I would not call this the next big, great comedy, but it's a nice little time at the movies, I guess. I would tell you to go see Inside Out before this, or, Jurassic World, but once you've seen both of those, if you want to see this one and you're not highly offended by stuff, to keep in mind this is an R-rated comedy and it takes every inch of that rated R. It's kind of like a throwback to the old Kid and Play movies, the old 90s comedies, which makes sense because they're obsessed with the 90s. But like I said, it's odd that it takes place in this time period, but it makes sense that it does because you have the culture of today and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're interested in checking out Dope and it seems like something you'd want to see, I would suggest checking it out. Alright, and swimming its way back into theaters this week for a special engagement, the newest film in the Turner Classic Movie Series, for its 40th anniversary. Da-dunt, da-dunt, da-dunt. Yeah, I don't know what that is. But anyway, 80s dance moves. Here is my review of Jaws. Amity Island is ready for a huge 4th of July celebration, until a great white shark stops by for a visit. After a number of attacks, the mayor finally agrees to have the chief of police, an expert, and a shark hunter go out and stop the creature at any cost. So what did I think of Jaws? I thought it's a legendary action film. From the first second the film begins, with the underwater camera representing the shark hunting for prey and the infamous score by John Williams, we're hooked. The film does an extraordinary job using suspense, kicking off with the late-night swim to the crowded beach where we're not sure who the victim will be, but we know it's coming. I like how the film builds with each attack, teasing the audience with shots of the fin venturing closer to land. The shark actually isn't seen in full until about an hour into the film. 40 years later, the shark still looks pretty impressive. There's a bit of blood and gore, but not as bad as you might expect. It's not the Saw movies or anything like that. One of the scariest things about the film is that it could totally happen. The story of the mayor saying the beach is fine and wants people to go in the water after attacks is actually going on in the news as we speak. Steven Spielberg directs, giving us another classic film, and this is easily one of his best movies. Sorry, Lincoln. Move over. Roy Scheider stars as Martin Brody, the chief of police who gets involved with wanting to protect the beachgoers from the menace. Robert Shaw as Quint, the experienced shark hunter hired to kill the shark. Richard Dreyfuss as Matt Hooper, an oceanographer brought in to help with the situation. Lorraine Gary as Ellen, Brody's wife who's worried about her husband's safety. And Maury Hamilton as Larry Vaughn, the mayor of Amity who doesn't want to lose all the money the island will bring in during the summer by closing the beaches. All these years later, Jaws is still one of the most thrilling movies around, and if you've never seen it before, it's an experience you have to sink your teeth into. Oh, I'm going to give it the rating of A-list approved. Yes, another one. It gets the A-list seal of approval. Now, Jaws is back in theaters Sunday, which is Father's Day, and also, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those days. Definitely check before you go. So definitely, if you've never seen it and you are interested in seeing it in the big screen, I would jump at this chance. This is one to see on the big screen. Of course, if you have it on DVD and you don't feel like spending the money, you can always watch it on DVD again. But even if it's not playing anywhere around you with the special showing, and you've never seen it, definitely pick it up on DVD, or the Blu-ray is available now, I believe. It's definitely worth a watch. And finally, as I said before, I didn't get to check this movie out during its initial run in theaters. That might have been a good thing. It came out back in January. It just hit Blu-ray and DVD recently. I just watched it. Here are my thoughts on the Kevin Costner, Octavia Spencer drama, Black or White. After the tragic death of his wife, a businessman struggles raising his granddaughter. Soon after, the girl's paternal grandmother gets involved, believing she'd be better at raising the child. Stuff goes down, and soon the two are pitted against each other in a heated custody battle. Oh, and the girl's father, who's had drug problems in the past, comes back into the picture too. Nice timing. So what did I think of Black or White? I thought it's a vanilla drama. The subject matter of racism and having children of mixed race is certainly topical, but this film really only glosses over the territory. I didn't truly buy the main character's build of becoming racist either. At the start of the film, he tolerates the other family and seems to be welcomed by most of them. While he doesn't like the child's father, it's hard to believe he'd end up screaming the N-word in court in front of an African-American judge when custody is on the line. The film is so wrapped up in trying to send a serious message, it forgets to have fun or even entertaining moments. There's also a random Lifetime movie-like scene toward the end that doesn't fit the tone of the film. There are a few positives, though. The final courtroom scene is actually pretty good. The cast also does some nice work, starring Kevin Costner as Elliot Anderson, the widowed grandfather having a tough time dealing with the loss of his wife and drinking problems, thrown into raising his granddaughter, Octavia Spencer as Rowena Jeffers, the child's other grandmother who's wants custody of the girl, Anthony Mackie as Jeremiah, Rowena's brother who happens to be a lawyer and tries to get her custody, Jillian Estelle as Eloise, the child being fought over that wants to stay with her grandfather, and Andre Holland as Reggie, Eloise's deadbeat father who returns and wants to strike up a deal with Elliot. Black or White means well, but just doesn't hit the mark it wants to. I'm gonna give it the rating of meh. This is a movie that wants to be a lot more important than it is. It just doesn't hit the emotional levels or the entertainment levels. It's just like you're watching someone's custody battle on CNN or something, and it's like, there's a lot better things to watch, change the channel type things. Like, there are some okay things about this movie, although it's not a total wash, but the acting is good. Like I said, the final courtroom scene is good. It's not one of the best in the world, of course. This is not Kramer versus Kramer. Some people out there may think this is a good movie. I just thought it was okay. Well, that's all the time for this week. I'll be back next week with my reviews of Ted 2 and Max, the movie about a dog hero, which I better not need a tissue box for, Hollywood. As well as any other movies I catch on Blu-ray or DVD. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube, youtube.com/westside515. You can like my Facebook page, facebook.com/WestTroopAlist. Follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram @WesAlist. And of course, you can buy my book, The A-List Review 2014 Movie Yearbook. Over 150 reviews, only $10. Contact me through Facebook or Twitter if you're interested. Until next time, Troop out.